Where do we all think interest rates are going to go on home loans? We're going to look at three of the larger real estate institutions and we're going to see what they say. Welcome into the Real Estate Minute Show. All right, so where's interest rates going to go next year? We all know that rates have risen. We're teetering on the 7.5% to 8%. We don't see that changing for the rest of this year. Obviously, we're in November already, so that's going to stay put. What's going to happen the first, second, third, fourth quarter of 2024? Well, the Fed, as you know, recently has not raised rates again, and they've indicated that they're just kind of keeping a close watch on inflation to see what happens. We see the economy slowly starting to depress down a little bit, which could be a sign of a recession forthcoming. Hopefully, we have a soft landing on that. But let's see where rates are going to go in 2024. So as you can see on the screen, you'll see there are three institutions that we like to follow. The Mortgage Bankers Association, Fannie Mae, which is a quasi-federal agency, and the National Association of Realtors, which is essentially, as a broker, our head national union. And as you can see, the first, second, third, and fourth quarter, we see some rates that are slowly starting to decline. The Mortgage Bankers Association thinks that we dip below 6 after the first of the year, slowly declining to 6.1 towards the end of 2024. Fannie Mae, which is, the federally backed kind of quasi-government entity that buys mortgages from banks, starts us off at kind of where we're at right now after the first of the year at about 7 and slowly depresses down to 6.7. And the National Association of Realtors being a little bit more aggressive, I think, in what they think it'll strike down to for the first quarter of 2024 at 6.1 and then staying fixed at 6% for the rest of the year. Just a little point to make here, the National Association of Realtors represents the interest of realtors like myself, and so they probably are going to be a little bit more aggressive in where they think rates should be, almost like where they want them to be versus what they will. I give a little bit more credence to the Mortgage Bankers Association and Fannie Mae on this, and I do agree with where they're going because of a couple things. One is the home buying or home selling market is very, very quiet right now. I think it'll pick up after the first. And by doing so, that'll make mortgages a little bit more of an active market and it'll slowly start creating some competition in rates. And the second reason why I agree with mainly the Mortgage Bankers Association and Fannie Mae here is because these also take into account an assumption that the Fed is going to slowly start to decrease rates just a titch towards the first of the year and then going forward through the last quarter of 2024. So this is a pretty good estimate. I think that we're going to definitely be in the sixes for sure. Nothing's 100%, obviously. We don't know what's going on in this world these days, but I definitely think we're going to be north of 6, probably rest in the mid sixes. We might see from 7.5 to 6.5, which means if mortgage rates right now are holding you back, okay, from buying a house and you're ready and you have to move. Just like the episode last week, we talked about my recommendations for essentially if you need to buy right now, only do so if you have to. And if you have to buy a little outside the city center to save yourself some cash. But if you do fit into one of those categories and you've got to move and buy a house, don't wait just because of mortgage rates. You're not going to see this monstrous decline next year that's going to be the decision-making factor for you to buy or not buy a home. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.